Forget the battlefield. The Pentagon's latest war is being fought in the gym.
Thousands of service members are facing discharge, not for misconduct, but for the number on a scale. They trained for combat, not for a tape measure, but today, that's what could end their careers. America's strongest warriors are being sidelined by a waistline.
The Pentagon insists fitness equals readiness.
She led missions overseas, but her reflection cost her career.
This isn't just fitness, it's survival within the ranks.
Over 10,000 troops were flagged last year alone.
He fought for his country but couldn't fight a number.
What's really at stake? Readiness or reputation?
Compliance rates must rise.
Behind every rule is a person forced to enforce it, even when it breaks them inside.
They push beyond limits, not to win medals, but to keep their place in uniform.
It wasn't like this in my day.
Those who built the legacy now question what it's become.
In these rooms, soldiers are statistics, not stories.
They measure every gram, but forget the human behind the hunger.
He still trains, because a soldier's spirit doesn't retire with paperwork.
They feel discarded, not disciplined. The price of perfection is breaking the minds that defend it.
They once shared missions. Now they share memories.
Readiness is non-negotiable.
Nothing. Publicly confident, privately conflicted.
When strength is measured by inches, what happens to those who gave everything else?
For every soldier discharged, there's a family left behind to pick up the silence.
To him, his father's still a hero, no matter what the Pentagon decides.
When the uniform comes off, so do the guarantees.
Progress measured in lost lives and lowered morale.
Inside sources claim the Purge was never about fitness, but funding.
The truth begins to surface, one file at a time.
These standards protect readiness.
Under oath, the brass defends, but the cracks start to show.
Once silenced by shame, now fueled by purpose.
Veterans across the nation are calling for reform. The story hits national headlines and the Pentagon feels the heat.
This isn't discipline, it's discrimination.
When politics enter the fight, policy starts to tremble.
Damage control begins, not with truth, but with slogans.
When health policy starts harming health, it's time to ask why.
I gave my best years, now I am discarded.
Yeah. His words ignite a movement. Millions begin to listen.
When one voice rises, thousands echo the same pain.
A review of all fitness dismissal cases. Pressure works of say. The walls of silence begin to crack.
For the first time, there's hope in the paperwork.
For those who lost everything,
Even recognition feels like redemption. A nation divided between discipline and compassion.
Still ready to serve. Voiceover. Because true strength was never about the scale.
They called it evaluation, but the letters were written before the tests began.
They used algorithms to flag soldiers. When machines judge men, justice becomes obsolete.
So we were fired by software?
Now, they knew the enemy wasn't fat, it was flawed policy.
In war rooms built for enemies, the battle now is with themselves.
The truth has left the barracks and entered Congress.
These soldiers weren't unfit, they were unwanted. When courage returns to the table, the system begins to shake.
We lost good soldiers chasing numbers.
Even the architects begin to question their own blueprints.
Sir!
Sir!
Titles fade, but true command lives in example.
The scandal deepens. Efficiency at the cost of ethics.
The numbers they ignored are now haunting them.
They were called unfit, but they will never be forgotten.
Serving two masters, the truth and the uniform. At the top, even silence can start a revolution.
If Turner wins his case, it's over for them.
So smart.
Loyalty turns to fear as truth spreads faster than orders.
In wars of law, patience is the sharpest weapon.
Federal court accepts the veterans' petition against Pentagon dismissals. The fight moves from protest to courtroom.
They once marched into battle. Now they march for justice.
In the court of truth, every justification sounds like denial.
For the first time, the system listens.
Whatever the verdict, his fight already changed the nation.
She wasn't fighting the enemy anymore. She was fighting her own body.
Even her superiors felt trapped, Talrud, between empathy and enforcement.
Behind the screens, numbers told a harsher story than faces ever could.
Doctors warned, this purge could break more minds than bodies.
But in the Pentagon, silence often wins over science.
Her fight for fitness became a fight to survive.
The paper said non-compliance, not the truth.
Each file was more than a name, facetted. It was a life interrupted.
Morale cracked long before the policy did.
Who will meet these standards?
The speeches grew louder, but the spirits quieter.
Policy is vital for readiness.
They called it readiness, but readiness for what?
One reporter saw the pattern. Heroes discarded for inches.
She served with honor, but honor wasn't enough. Why don't you wear your uniform anymore? How do you explain to a child that pride can be punished?
They took his uniform, not his discipline.
For some, the silence hurts more than the loss.
In public, they called it progress. In private, pain.
Pressure was mounting, truth was knocking on the hill.
Maybe the war she lost could still change something.
The Pentagon's war on weight still rages, but so does the fight for fairness.
A memo leaked, proving what soldiers feared all along.
But denial echoed louder than accountability.
For the first time, veterans and civilians stood shoulder to shoulder.
The face of the Purge was finally seen and heard.
Power often watches in silence until it's forced to act.
Finally, the question reached the halls of power.
The stories weren't just statistics anymore, but fact. They were human.
It is objective and necessary.
Objectivity, a word that can hide too much pain.
Call this fairness? Act! A soldier spoke again, but this time from the other side.
America finally started asking the right questions.
Even the architects began to doubt their blueprints.
The mental toll was invisible, but immense.
We lost good soldiers. Even loyalty couldn't silence the truth anymore.
A digital army rose to defend the real one.
In politics, words are weapons and shields.
The issue reached the commander-in-chief.
Pentagon to revise standards. And just like that,
reform had a name.
For Vega, it wasn't victory, Kliss. It was vindication. Policies change. People heal slowly. But stories like these shape the soul of a nation.
The Pentagon promised a new era where fitness meant more than numbers.
A new breed of soldiers began their journey, shaped by lessons of the past.
You've got this. She couldn't return to duty, but she returned to purpose.
For the first time, the mind was part of military fitness.
The test was no longer about perfection, but perseverance. Numbers finally told a story of hope.
Progress, measured not in pounds victory, but in pride.
She no longer marched, but her spirit still did.
For every soldier cut before, another now rose stronger.
Military sees drop in attrition, rise in morale. Even the headlines had changed their tone.
We owe them an apology.
Reform came too late for some, but it still came.
Justice, delayed, but not denied. For her, the war finally ended in peace.
This generation learned strength is more than shape.
The military body now included the heart and mind.
Retention up 15%, morale up 30%.
For once, success was measured in human terms.
A soldier who once felled trombing now stood for thousands.
From punishment to progress, the Pentagon learned to listen.
They no longer fought the scale. They fought for each other.
Every battle leaves scars, but some scars become strength.
Even senior officers struggle to defend a policy that feels more political than practical.
His silence says more than any speech could.
They watch, realizing the system is turning on its own.
You're still warriors! Some refuse to let a policy define their worth.
Together, they found a new mission, strength without judgment.
The psychological cost of the purge was far greater than expected.
This isn't discipline, it's discrimination. The debate reached Washington, and the nation took sides.
The nation spoke, loud, divided, emotional.
The Pentagon's war on weight had become a war of perception.
They gave him medals for courage, then took his uniform for size.
The movement was no longer just about fitness, it was about respect.
The department will review the fitness standards.
After months of backlash, the Pentagon finally blinked.
For the first time, hope returned to the ranks.
We did it.
One small victory, earned through resilience.
He may never wear it again,
but he will always be a soldier.
You're my hero.
Her words heal what the system broke.
I fought battles overseas and won at home.
For my dignity.
Because being fit to serve means more than a number. The Pentagon's war on weight may end, but their fight for respect will never fade.
Some wars are fought with weapons, others with willpower. To every soldier who stood tall,